Go for it.
Okay, yeah, 6:01. So we'll get started with the Planning Environment Committee meeting, 9th of September. First item, 25, 21. Member of the public doesn't necessarily need to do the. Yeah, so the fire alarm, it's not a drill. The exits are back the way through, you came through the reception or through the door just to, in front of me. Okay, move on. So item 25, 21, receive apologies for absence. Looks like everyone's here. Yeah. Okay, move on to the next item, 25, 22. It's no declarations of interest and requests for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or co-operative member has disclosable pecuniary interest or non-pecuniary interest. Do any members have any interest in any items on the agenda? No. No? Okay. Let's move on to the next item. That's 25, 23, open forum. Comment and questions concerning items on this agenda may be put to the council by public during this period. Matters in which the chair's view require debate and or discussion will be referred to the next committee/council meeting as appropriate. Public forum is restricted to 15 minutes unless the chair allows otherwise. No member of the public likes to comment on any agenda item?
How are you?
I wasn't going to, but go on.
Here's your chance.
Unfortunately, county council's not in, Julie's not in.
Oh, yeah.
There was a planning application on Hallwood Road that I believe is quite interesting at the moment. They seem to have ignored planning permission, and I just wondered if she'd have been here, she might update us.
Do you know if that's one that's on this agenda? Just if it's one that we're discussing?
No.
No, we're well aware of the situation.
Yeah.
And we know that planning enforcement is involved.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that. They said they haven't got planning permission to do what they did.
Yeah.
Right, in that case, we'll move on to the next item. That's 25, 24. Sorry.
What's the general opinion? Do you live on Hallwood?
I don't. I used to live on that estate.
Yeah.
And also live on it now. And I think the local residents are upset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you would be. Quite natural.
Understandable. Right, so we move on to the next item. That's 25, 24. So approve and sign the minutes of the extraordinary Planning Environment Committee meeting of the 29th of July 2025. Do any councillors have any comments on the minutes?
No, Chair.
None, Chair.
None. Okay, in that case, we vote to approve the minutes. All in favour?
Was I here? Don't think I was.
No, you
No,
weren't.
you weren't. No, we weren't. No, that's fine, Chris.
Everyone
down to stay. That's fine.
No problem. Okay, on to first application 2525 to consider planning application 25/2528/full. Proposed change of use at the private forecourt area fronting 109 to 111 Wilmslow Road to a covered outside area and eating and drinking area for the businesses. The proposal also includes some alterations to the front elevation of both properties, 109 Wilmslow Road, Handforth. So as it says, it's a covered area, a new structure over what appears to be called the carway, but is in fact their covered eating area. Yeah. From my own comments, it seems to be quite a significant depth that the elevation comes out, and it's noted that it's a similar covered eating area to other properties on either side of Wilmslow Road. Again, all things considered, it is similar to those, albeit the public highway is much less at this point, but it doesn't come into any, it doesn't disrupt any accessible path around the front of the property. So if any councillors have any comments on that? Yeah, that's a small.
Yeah, I quite like this application. I like the design of the whole thing. The extension is to be a low wall surmounted by glazing units, and there should be a retractable transparent roof, which I think is going to be blue and white stripes or something like that to try and produce a Mediterranean type atmosphere. And it looks as if they're going to install various decorative plant holders, so it's going to look quite attractive inside one way or another. proposal doesn't result in any narrowing of the public footpath, as you said, Chair. 2 full-time extra employees are envisaged, which I think is a plus point for this proposal. And the Town Centre Vitality Plan of February 2023 for Handforth gives priority action to enhance the street environment along Wilmslow Road, includes allow businesses to spill out onto the footway when weather permitting to help activate the street. My recommendation is that this be approved, or we offer no objection to it.
Yes, I agree with everything that Councillor Small said there. We have to remember, of course, this is the property that belongs to that particular premise. The footpath is only that very narrow part. The actual land is owned up to that footpath, and they already occupy that anyway with tables and chairs, which they've had for a long time. It's a very vibrant business. It's going to create another couple of jobs, hopefully, and I think it'll be a huge asset. And I can't imagine that it could possibly be refused when it's private land, when over the road they agreed and allowed building on highway land, because that was a public footpath. And that I objected to. I don't object to it per se, but the fact that they were taking away public footpath, I objected to that. But yeah, I can't see how it can be refused. I think it'll make the village look even better.
Yeah, all that. Yes, totally agree.
I agree.
So
Said it all.
I'm all in favour.
Right, in that case, I think we should just propose that we have no objection to the planning application. I'll propose that second. All in favour? Carried that. Okay, so the next item, 2526, planning application 25/2638/BOC. That has already gained approval, so we'll bypass that. And then the next one, 2527, planning application 25/28/29/CLPUD. That has also, I believe, been approved.
Yeah.
That's that. And the next one, agenda item 2528, is the planning application 25/2837/House, which has also since been approved. So we'll bypass that one too. So the next one, 25/20.
Sorry, Chair. I just got lost there.
Yeah.
Which has just been approved?
So that's
7 and 8.
so 6, 6, 7, and 8 on the
Yeah,
agenda.
sorry, 6, 7 and 8 on the second page.
They've all since the agenda was published and approved.
Quick decisions, aren't they, Cheshire?
Why is that, by the way? It's not come through here.
It might just be because they came through quite early, because obviously we had the August.
Of course,
our
yes.
break.
Quite right.
So I think a few applications might have just fallen out
good point.
of our window. So that's okay. We'll move on to the next item. That's 25/20/9 to consider planning application 25/3104/House. Erection of 2-storey side extension, erection of a single-storey rear extension, erection of front extension, and alterations to driveway and access at 10 Valley Drive, Handforth. Now, don't have any notes on this one. The application itself, as it says, is for the extension to the front and the rear, and single story on the side. That side extension is a 1st-story extension over the garage. The only comments I have on this application is that it makes it look quite similar to the houses around it. Yeah,
With the first one.
Yeah, there appears to be no specific concerns with this agenda item, so long as that there's enough room to park off street, which there appears to be. If any other councillors have any comments on this application?
Yes, Chair. This detached property backs onto the corner of a playing field. And the proposed two-storey side extension on the left-hand side of the property shouldn't cause any loss of privacy or natural light for the neighbours at number 12 Valley Drive. Likewise, the proposed single-storey rear extension should not have a deleterious effect on neighbours at either number 8 or 12. There are no adverse comments from neighbours. I would recommend no objection to this application.
Yep.
Yes, everything that you said, I looked at it, I can't see anything that raises a red flag for me, so yeah, no problem with that one.
Yeah, Councillor Sampson.
The only thing I saw, I don't know whether it makes a difference, there's only 5 bedrooms,
Right.
but it's stipulating 6 bedrooms. Does it make a difference?
I'm not sure of that one. I think in terms of planning considerations, there's nothing to consider. The only thing I could think of is parking, and that would make no difference.
I have no objection at all to the external side of it.
Yeah.
Just something I looked at, so, and I wondered.
And this had 3 car parking spaces, didn't it, at the
Yeah.
front?
Yeah,
That's
it should
one.
still have those spaces, which it does.
Well, it's got 2. They're going to expand it to 3,
That's right.
simply by widening the driveway.
Yeah.
Is the issue just that it says 6 and there was only 5 on the? Did it have an office? I can't remember.
Sorry?
I can't remember if it had an office on the floor plans, because that might be considered another bedroom. Generally, is for.
No.
Perhaps we'll just raise a query about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's irrelevant because it's inside, but I wonder if does it make any difference in the wording of the application?
Yeah. I don't think it's any particular concern that's not already been addressed by the application. I think whether it's 5 or 6, it's right. But yeah, if you want to raise that, so just say we have no objection to the application, and just query the wording of 6. There's only 5 on the floor
5 on
plans.
6.
I propose that then.
Exactly.
All in favour? That's passed. No problem. Okay. General item 25/20/10 to consider planning application 25/3022/full planning permission for employment floor space B2 and B8 with ancillary integral office floor space use class EGI. Associated parking, landscaping, and other necessary supporting infrastructure. Kilncroft Lane, Hanforth.
Chair,
Yep.
may I recount some planning history for this site?
Yeah, if it would help.
The belt of woodland to the west of the development site is part of Hanforth's Green Corridor and must be preserved in its entirety. It contains a length of the track bed of a military branch line that terminated on Hall Road. This railway branch line served the Fighting Vehicle Repair Depot, 2 AFV Depot RAOC, later 42A Vehicle Depot, that was located on what is now the Welland Road housing estate. The site now to be developed is believed to be part of the Sunfield, which may have been a component of Brook Farm. It's possible that it later became a part of Hanforth Hall Farm, but I can recall walking along the edge of a long continuous field from precisely the back of Hanforth Hall all the way across to where warehouses now stand. The field was last in agricultural use more than 40 years ago, and it currently lies within the Hanforth Dean retail zone. 3 blocks of buildings, A, B and C, are now proposed for the site with use categories which our chair has already spelled out. Vehicular access to blocks A and B is to be from Kilncroft Lane, and vehicular access to block C is to be from Lower Meadow Road. All 3 blocks have loading, unloading facilities for heavy goods vehicles and staff car parking spaces, including some for the charging of electric vehicles. I can go on, but I think I've covered the background to the planning history.
Okay. Yes, this application, as Councillor Small said, the site is on from woodland. supposedly most of the application site is not within what is designated as protected woodland under the local plan, and it is entirely within an area allocated for employment use, which all the uses do fit within. But the application has quite a few holes, to say the least. There's no written support so far on the planning application, which means there's no mention of biodiversity or ecology or flood risk or drainage, except for plans. No details on the travel plan or how traffic will be dealt with. Let's also say that there are quite a significant number of trees on the site already, which, despite not being within this designated green space, are of quite a significant calibre. And the loss would, well, we're not sure if the loss would be outweighed because there is no biodiversity metric to judge that against. So just from looking at the plan, it looks like at the moment it's not at a stage that we can actually have any comment, have any opinion other than that it's not acceptable in its current form. Any comments?
Yes, please. I'll let you explain the bit that you've raised, that there seems to be some marking off of what looks like a road. I'll let Pete explain that one. When you look at the BMW, the garage on the other side, there is absolutely no greenery whatsoever. It's an absolute grey space. And when I think how much woodland they cut down all the way to the stream for that land drain that they put in, I do not wish to see the same thing happen on the other side of the road, because it looks awful. You've just got great big concrete balls and concrete stones and bits of it. It's just horrendous. There is no greenery in there whatsoever. And we need to keep something on this site. But I'm greatly concerned by posts and things people will go through and explain about the woodland. We need to make sure that that piece of woodland is protected, because if that track's there, it should be protected. And the path that Pete's seen cuts right across it in both places. So I'll let you explain.
By my crude drawing, it's both ends of the wood are clearly been marked up as being entrance points or exit points. So they take it off both ends of the wood, big chunks of them, which is indicated by posts in the ground, the blue paint on, large trees painted blue, which are right in the middle of the wood. And so you'd be left with a section in the middle. I'm going back to the drawing, which I couldn't get to see. Is that it there? Yeah. Well, that doesn't tie in with the things I see.
It doesn't, because on this drawing here, the entrance site from, what's this road here? Lower Meadow Road, is well removed from the belt of wood.
Bollocks, Roger. You've got trees here marked off, trees here marked off, and the post. What you've got, this is a bit like a valley, this bit here, the natural wood, and it rises up and then onto the flat bit. And you've definitely got posts marking an entrance here and an entrance there. This is John Lewis, the top end, and there's the car park for the gym. So you've got marked off an entrance point, definitely coming from there with posts and trees marked.
I don't understand why you would want that, because you've got two entrance points here. There's one from Gilncroft Lane there, giving access to car parking here and here, and truck loading and offloading there, and also to these blocks here. And this one here just serves.
But this would appear to encroach. Going by the drawing, and I saw you had the other drawing, it looks as it does go well into the wood. But you have to see exactly where these lines are, I suppose. Really.
I think we're probably all agreed that we need this absolutely spelled out, where the access points are going to be and how much encroachment they're planning on this piece of woodland.
And the query,
why don't you paint trees blue?
Why have trees been marked?
Yeah.
Why have trees in the middle of the wood there be marked?
So to my understanding, there is actually a public footpath that goes through these existing trees. I'm not sure if they align.
No, there's a
public footpath that goes across.
There is a path I have created.
There's definitely one that goes through here on the plans.
No, hang on, there wasn't. I created it some years ago.
No, so when I
no, seriously, there wasn't a path through there.
On Cheshire East website, there is a footpath that goes in through here.
Well, you couldn't have gone through there without having a lot of trimming and what have you, dead wood.
Yeah. But
But
I'm
It is
not sure
used,
if it's
it is
very
actually
well-
used, it is actually quite well used by a number of people.
I'm not sure if it's obviously marketed at the moment, but that could be what that is. I'm not to say that they like. I don't know what the
Bear
intention
in
is
mind
overall.
that a lot of trees are being marked up recently to indicate disease.
How convenient.
Yeah, quite possibly. But that is
I
another
can't
possibility.
imagine that's Cheshire East. I don't
There
think
was-
anybody's been in there for donkey's years.
Let me explain here. There's a bit on the plan here. You've got there's a car park at the north end of the gym.
Yeah.
There's an area of grass, well, woodland or vegetation at the very end there.
Yeah.
There was a post so you get into here with a path, as you said. Path goes through to Hanforty. There's a blue post put in here, and there's a row of them coming around here, which in fact have disappeared, in actual fact. That's where they were, and there's trees in that area marked blue. So why is there a post there?
It doesn't make sense, doesn't it?
No.
If the buildings are going to
It
be
doesn't.
like that.
So I'm suspicious.
Doesn't
Having
make
said
sense
that,
at all.
that would seem to encroach. I'd like to know where that is, and where that encroaches into what I would call the
Well, you can make a measurement
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah.
From the centre of that portal there to the corner here. Very easy to do.
Could do a copy of that. Yeah, I'll have a go up there. So I go through there regularly. Most days I walk through there.
I'd like to say that I thoroughly agree with the opinions that are being expressed that we need to preserve this belt of woodland to the nth degree. But I have other unrelated comments.
Yep.
With your permission, Chair.
Yeah, of course.
The provided drainage map for surface water suggests that most of that water is going to empty into the sewer located in the centre of Kilncrop Lane and Lower Meadow Road, and presumably that sewer empties into Spath Brook near the roundabout between Epsom Avenue and Lower Meadow Road. The arrangements for the disposal of foul water I couldn't distinguish within the application. I would like to say, or like to suggest, that the Town Council expresses this opinion, that it regrets that this plot of land is not to be allocated for retail use. The Town Council hopes that any S106 monies arising from the development will be directed towards projects of the following kind: the installation of a controlled crossing where footpath 91 crosses Coppice Way.
Yeah.
Secondly, upgrading of the footpath that runs across the northern edge of this site from Epsom Avenue to Earl Road. It's just about passable at the moment. And thirdly, perhaps provision of part of the station car park proposed immediately south of the Youth and Community Centre, i.e. just outside Ashley's office. I don't know how much S106 money there's going to be, but if it's a large sum, which it might be, then, and I would welcome other councillors suggesting alternative ways of spending this S106 monies. We must chase this S106 money down, because my understanding is that we got absolutely nothing out of the BMW garage. Nothing at all. No.
No, and what's even worse, they didn't respond to our letter.
Yeah.
Not even a no thank you, sorry, can't comment, nothing. Absolutely zilch, which I think is dreadful.
I think it's
Just an observation, do a quick one next. I walk around there regularly. This goes back to 30 years, doesn't it? To Hanford and all the rest of it. What's interesting is that you look at John Lewis, the gym, all the other places around that way, Pets, they all planted trees. That's how the building, you've got terrific trees along the roads there. You've got obviously the mound at around Hanford Dean. Arnold Jones have planted nothing. It's an absolute bloody disgrace. And yet took down hundreds of trees there, hundreds, probably a quarter of Hall Road wood was taken down for that.
And that's where I'd like to see some money going to replant the trees that were lost. And I want them to put some money to it.
They don't necessarily have to alter the appearance of their rocky, shaly desert at all, because there's a large triangle of land. If you're facing the BMW site, a large triangle of the land to the left,
Yes.
which is at the end of the environmental barrier,
Yeah.
which could take a lot of trees
It's
without
untouched.
disturbing their
Yeah,
side.
nothing with
Yeah.
that.
And they could also put trees in very close to where Spathbrook turns through a right angle, and it's very close to one of their large entrance gates.
My biggest problem with everything that happened there is not the fact that they've taken down trees, that's disgraceful, but you've now got the embankment is slipping, and the sides of the stream are eroding away because there's now no longer the vegetation there holding the soil together. And that has to be addressed in some way. We're going to have a landslip, I think.
Just as a amusing note, all the shale stuff around the edges, it's been taken over by nature. Things are growing within it. It's greedy over, actually.
Yeah, but what
Which they haven't
you need in
noticed,
there are
obviously.
some things
Yeah.
with bigger roots to hold things
Well, they've
together.
got,
and you haven't
they've got
that
obviously,
now.
they've layered down stuff to prevent stuff coming through, haven't they? And they've put holes where their odd plants come through, but stuff is
Well, we
taken
know
over.
how important that brook is to and all the water that comes from all over the place into there. If any of those embankments fail, and they are doing, and they don't seem to be doing anything about it, we're going to be in a dire situation. So it needs addressing.
I think, frankly, the point with this application is that it's not supported by any written evidence, which means that we can't fully assess any impact realistically. With that application,
Written evidence of what kind, Chair?
There's no evidence of biodiversity loss. There's no comment on traffic or.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So it's only supported by the plans which have been submitted. Which I think, frankly, for this kind of application isn't really acceptable because we need to know. We need to know the biodiversity value, how that's going to change, and how the traffic will be impacted, because we know it's going to be.
Whose land is it? Has it been bought by somebody?
Marks & Spencer's and Tesco's.
They own it, yeah.
Yeah,
So they sold it
they're
on,
the
or what's the?
I'd like to see that line there that comes down. I'd like to see this altered at this end so there's a wider band.
Yeah.
Because you're taking a huge swathe of the woodland there.
See, so this, just on this map here, this part here on this side, that's the only part that's designated as woodland. It's designated as open space and local land. So everything on this side. I get that,
but the woodland and the original woodland goes in almost a straight line down to there.
Yeah.
I know, because I've been in there many times.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that bit taken out and redo the plans and keep that woodland.
Well,
so this is going to need quite a bit of thought and composition as regards drafting a response to this, isn't it?
I don't think there's anything that we can say other than that we have to raise objection to this because it's not in its current form an acceptable planning application, full stop. It's missing a lot of evidence that it needs to be able to be determined. Because as I said, with the loss of woodland, my main comments would be that we need to know that there will be at least the required net gain in biodiversity on this site, especially to retain the woodland that's already on the south of the site.
And
can we define?
Yeah.
Markings.
Can we define the woodland? Because again, like Hall Road South, that's where Hall Jones is, that has spread. This has spread. So where have we got a definite line where what is seen to be woodland is marked? Because I think they're encroaching.
Well, that's the thing. So this is as far as I can tell on the application side. Sorry, I've not really got a map to show it on this one. So the application site, I believe, is that this
Red line.
Yeah. So the
has to encroach on the woodland there.
Well, so the actual area that's built on doesn't actually encroach onto what's currently considered the public open space of the woodland.
How can that angle there surely has to be the woodland there, the bit here?
I'm not sure if that's
unless
right.
The original.
See, when you look at this drawing as well, it's not quite as bad, is it?
It does encroach onto the existing woodland, but the part that it's on is not part of the protected woodland right now.
Is that definite?
Yeah.
Right.
As far as I can tell on the maps, it's not over the woodland. That's
what you're saying there. That one isn't there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought it back to here.
So the actual
What's the damage going to do though to the woodland?
the red line plan that was submitted with the application is so that's
That line there.
yeah, I believe that's smaller than the actual ownership boundary because the ownership boundary does encroach onto what's protected open space.
So what's the point of this line here? What's that all about? What's that telling us?
I'm not sure on that one either. No.
Nothing very much.
Because you'd imagine, because I say it's a valley, you know, the woodland goes up quite steeply to the high flybit. That has to be that area, yes. So that was supposed to be the valley, presumably. I can't see them building into the valley. But it wouldn't work, I don't think. I could wander back there, really, with
I think
some dimensions.
We'll need to draft up a full response, but at this point, we know that we can say that we are in objection to the application as it stands.
Right. The neighbourhood plan,
Yeah.
it is that bit there.
Oh, right. As
There you
per
go.
the-
That's the neighbourhood
yeah.
plan.
Yes.
There you go.
But I think the actual boundary,
So,
the application
there.
boundary is all of what's that white part of that lot.
Can you see that? Yeah, it goes very thin at that lower Benny Road end. This is our neighbourhood plan.
At the time,
Sorry, let me just go back in on that again for you. Look, you can see both sides of the,
So it's not like an even
and you can
parallel
see it
strip.
is that,
yeah.
and it goes right down to that narrow strip there.
That's not right.
So if you look at the public map viewer, that's what it's showing as that band on there.
Yeah.
And on the application form, that is, sorry, give me 2 ticks.
Excluded from their side.
It's excluded from their site. There's the band there,
Okay,
going down to
okay,
there.
so that's a bit more than.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, yes.
But there is still quite a significant portion of woodland now on the southern boundary that moves up towards the roundabout.
Yeah, I've got to repeat that we've got posts which suggest they're coming at both ends.
They're saying here.
But this
And they can't
This is on the-
to the left of that line.
Yeah, the line of trademark.
this is another map.
Don't
So
know, you have to
the
take
footpath
pictures.
here.
Yeah.
It's not. I think that might correlate with those points.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
It looks like that correlates with those points that we brought up.
So you think it's marking the footpath?
Potentially, but I'm not sure if that's whether the applicant's
Well,
done
I
that
think
or-
we need to ask the question.
Yeah,
on
it's
why
worth
the
raising.
trees are marked off.
Could I suggest, Chair, that when Ashley composes the response to this application, that several councillors have cited it before it's finally sent to trustees to make sure that we've covered all the points which we think are critical and need to be attended to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chair blue line.
The
And
chair's
that's a
all right with
birch,
that?
isn't it?
Of course. So,
Oh, but that's probably an ash, which is may have ash dieback.
How convenient though, isn't it?
right. So what
But
do
the
you
other
want
one
to
looked to me
propose
like
on
a
this
birch tree.
application then?
So,
I don't
sorry,
I've
where
got
have we
a
got to,
walkthrough
Chair?
and,
So
review it.
basically, what do we want to propose on this application as it stands? What do we think is worth objecting on? Because it's clearly objectionable as it is right now.
We've got. I think we ought to put in a bit of the planning history, and I like Ashley's reference to the neighbourhood plan, because we really do want to protect this belt of woodland, don't we?
And according to the
we can only do it.
that is protected.
Yeah.
We can only do it according to that shape that's on
That
there.
shape that's on there.
Although I think
A few trees beyond that blue post.
as I mentioned with the
Looking
biodiversity value, the fact that we don't have a metric to actually say
towards this
what's
side.
being lost, I'm not entirely convinced that what remains on the plan is a net gain of what's being lost on the southern part of the site.
So what we want are more details.
Yeah. So we need to
There's
know.
That's well within the wood.
We need to
Again, that might be an
know a lot
ashtray.
more detail of this application. We need to. The main ones I can bring up obviously are again the biodiversity metrics before and after. And again, a traffic and travel plan, because I think, frankly, this is going to be quite a big generator of traffic.
Yeah, it is.
So we need to know how they're going to support that and what funds are going to be made
We
to make that happen.
must stress that
Because it's in the retail still zone, and it's not going to attract still, because it's not classed as retail.
Yeah.
And you're not telling me that BMW isn't selling BMWs from that side by retail.
Yeah.
So we will have to be an SI6 on this.
Yeah.
Even if we object, we'll have to put in a clause that says, if it does get planning approval, we do want to see SI6 generated go towards X, Y, and Z. When it doesn't go towards X, Y, and Z, we can say the town council suggested this.
Yeah.
Why have you gone against the town council?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to build in all those points.
I think I will take Rogers as a base. I'll add in your lack of clarity over biodiversity, travel plan, so on and so forth. And we must insist, and I'll use the neighbourhood plan and take an extract of this and say, you are not allowed to touch anything to the east of that line there.
Yeah.
That is protected open space. Basically.
We ought to mention it being part of Handforth's green corridor, which was
That's
described by
biodiversity
Cheshire
area. They're all the important. They're the important bits. Yeah. So they are protected under the neighbourhood
What
plan.
we need is the measurement of that green corridor, so we can see exactly where they are coming up to and where that wood is protected.
I know.
And make sure we query the markings behind the woodland.
Yeah.
Is definitely a protected woodland.
Yeah.
Whether that's from the applicant or not, we need to know what's happening there,
Because
don't
if
we?
people start going in there and chopping down trees, and it's going to be.
They can not go in that bit. No.
Yeah.
because I was a little unsure about what S106 monies could be spent on. I took the trouble to look it up. That can be spent on affordable housing, green spaces, educational facilities, traffic calming, NHS contributions, and local employment initiatives. So there's quite a wide variety of things it could be spent on.
Yeah, it all has to be stuff that's relevant to this application, but as you say, that there's plenty that is stuff that we can benefit from this application.
Yeah.
Especially if we have a loss of woodland on site, I think it's fair to ask for more community contribution.
I think they can contribute towards the park and ride facility because it is connectivity through Handforth as well.
Yeah.
We're not putting figures on it, let them deal with that.
Yeah. So if we just pick up on some things that maybe we'll send those to you actually when you make the response. If we have a few things that we can pick up on that we'd like to see from the application. Obviously, it will depend on what Cheshire East says acceptable. But
Can we say something like, at this stage, we can neither...
You can't ask planning questions though, and expect a response.
No.
But can we say
So we
something
just
like,
have to put down our.
at this stage, we cannot either endorse or oppose this application. We need further information and assurances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say that,
Yeah. We definitely need.
You can say it.
We need quite a significant amount of written clarification.
Probably would recommend that we stay objective, though.
Yeah.
Really.
We can only object right now. So say at this point, I propose that we can only object to this application. There's just such a significant lack of information that we need to determine the application. As I say, in the formal objection, we can have those specific comments on things that we need to see in terms of biodiversity, in terms of transport, in terms of section 106 obligations.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll propose that then. Something there? Yeah. All in favour? Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Right. We go on to the next item then. That's 2520. 11, sorry, to consider planning application 25/3137/house, erection of a single-storey rear extension, conversion of garage, erection of front porch extension, increase in roof pitch height with loft conversion to form additional dwelling space, erection of front and rear dormer extension, and associated alterations to external finishes to Tranmere Drive, Handforth. Now, this application, the most significant part of the application, I think, is the addition of a habitable loft, which is quite obtuse in form, but I don't, to my understanding, I don't think there's any, any change to how acceptable it is in terms of overlook and overshadowing. Yeah, so other than that one comment, and the fact that there's a lot of the garage would mean that we need to make sure that there's enough car parking spaces to accommodate the amount of bedrooms in the home. If any other council have comment?
Yeah, this is a linked detached property and it's located on a large, roughly triangular plot on the corner of Tranmere Drive with Horwood Road. The proposed front porch is said to emulate similar structures on neighbouring properties, so I have no problems with that. The proposed ground floor rearward extension seems unlikely to cause any loss of privacy or natural light for the next door neighbour at 4 Tranmere Drive. However, the proposed increase in roof pitch height and the dormer units are likely to exert a dominant aspect over 4 Tranmere Drive. But no comments have been received from neighbours. My personal view of this is that we could recommend approval apart from the extension of living accommodation into a heightened roof space.
Well, when I looked at the actual plans, it's a very strange plan at the top, isn't it? It looks very, well, the word I can use is weird. It looks as though it's going to be too high for similar properties around there. However, it is at the end, but I don't think it's appropriate, personally, I don't think it's appropriate for that particular area.
But no complaints.
Personal.
No complaints from neighbours.
No comments.
No, but there's no comments from neighbours.
Yeah, I think it does. It's quite a detachment from the existing properties in the area visually. Again, if there's been no neighbour comments on overshadowing, I think we could raise the point that there could be some quite significant overshadowing onto the properties to the north. No other issues with the other parts of the application, other than perhaps just to make sure that there's enough on-street parking to accommodate the amount of bedrooms in the property. Whether that's any added or not, I can't remember. I think there's an addition.
You go down that road and you'll see how many cars are parked on the street. It's not good.
No.
You're using off-road parking.
I think the question really is, do we think the increase in the pitch is worth objecting to?
I do.
I do, Chair.
I do. And the only comment I made here was, wow. I liked it. You know, I don't see any reason for objecting.
No. If there were complaints from neighbours, you then have to take it, but you wouldn't have, if there's been no complaints, then it becomes a bit subjective, doesn't it, really? It's in the eye of the beholder.
Well,
So I wouldn't object to it.
I don't think we can object to the actual principle of the development, but it's worth raising the point that there is quite significant overshadowing that might occur. It might be worth asking.
Observation.
Yeah, it might be worth asking the applicant if they could provide some kind of some path diagram, just to make sure that it's not going to be overbearing on the northern neighbours. I think we're saying that we can't say that we've got no objection now. What do we think?
You propose it.
Yeah, I think that's all we can say then. Is we don't have an objection to the principle of development, but we'd like to raise the point to the applicant and to the council that there's quite a significant overshadowing that might occur. So we'd just like confirmation that it won't be so much so that it would negatively impact the neighbours to the north. Yeah. I propose that. A second. All in favour? It's 3.
Yeah.
Any opposed?
I'm objecting.
That's 2.
Perhaps it carries.
Carries. Right. Okay, on to final application, that's 25/20/12 to consider planning application 25/3066/house, proposed outbuilding and boundary treatment, 165 Wilmslow Road, Hanforth. Yeah, as the description says, it's an outbuilding to the very rear of the property within its own curtilage, and just some boundary treatment on the front of the property. To my understanding, this appears to be a retrospective application. I think the application form does state that the works have been completed. That said, there's nothing in particular about the development that's particularly daunting. There's not any particular negative impacts of the development. So I don't think there's anything that we can really object to on that. Is there any comments?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Can I just make my comment that I make the same every single meeting? I am sick and tired of people asking for retrospective planning. Why can't they go through the proper procedures in the first place? And for that, I'm going to object to this. I just found that, what is the point of having a planning portal and all these things that go on that are there to protect us all and try and, you know, the example is what's gone on Thingy Road, Hallwood. I mean, these people should be made to pay for the fact that they haven't bothered to comply with all the regulations. Okay, so odd people, one or two people do it and everybody else complies. That's okay when only one or two people do it. But what happens if everybody starts doing it? And that's where we're getting now. We're getting these all the time. Retrospective. It's not on, and it needs to be addressed in some manner.
Any other comment on the application?
The proposed function of the outbuilding is not clear, but the plans don't include toilet or bathroom facilities. The plans show a downspout from the building's flat roof, but there's no indication of how rainwater is thereafter to be drained. The anterior boundary treatment of walling and a sliding gate seem well designed. There don't seem to be any adverse comments from neighbours. So apart from seeking clarity about the drainage of the roof water from the building, I have no objection to this.
Is this one that we had before, and we have raised a query as to what the building was going to be used for?
No, that was on Hallwood Road.
Yeah, there was.
It's what?
It was on Hallwood Road, that.
Was it?
Yes.
I can't remember, we deal with so many.
Yeah, we had a retrospective.
Yeah. That got refused.
Did it?
Well,
Why is retrospective on it? Did they not realise they needed planning? Why did it suddenly come to the fore?
well, we don't know the reason why they've applied retrospectively, but we know Cheshire East allows retrospective applications. So if there's nothing to object to, and it's within Cheshire East's acceptability. I think the other thing with this being an outbuilding is it does look like there's no possible access other than through the house to get to this building. So I think it would be unfair to say that it could be used for anything else, or to at least suggest that.
Shed or storage facility.
So I just propose that it's we have no objection to the application, but as Councillor Small mentioned, that wants to confirm any drainage situation with the proposed outbuilding. So I propose that. Secondly, Small in favour. Any opposed? Okay. So that's carried.
I'm going to keep on about this forever and a day until it starts being adhered to.
Well, there should be some
People show a bit
penalty.
more respect than they have now. I mean, look at what's happened on Hallwood.
Yeah.
I mean, who would knock down a house?
Well, Woodlands Road, same thing there, where they've had that, the highway with the wall.
It just should not be allowed to happen. And I really hope Cheshire do something about that.
All right, we'll just wrap up the meeting. So,
no, I know.
final item 25/20/13 to consider any other planning application reviewed by the Town Council outside the deadline for application of the Hanforth Town Council agenda. If two as a chair of the planning committee can be discussed or agreed. Are there any applications?
Yeah.
None. Okay. So,
Chair,
yep.
what's happening with the Wellington houses? Does anybody know?
No
We don't have any
applications.
planning with them. There's
No,
all
there's
sorts
nothing
of
on
rumours
Stockport.
going on
No.
around,
There's
aren't there?
nothing on Stockport either.
The,
Well, it's not
the,
Stockport, it's
yeah.
Cheshire.